$37. That's your checking account balance the morning you turn 29. Not your savings. You don't have savings. Your checking account 3 days before rent is due. You're standing in your kitchen holding a coffee mug that's been chipped for 2 years because buying a new one felt irresponsible, and somehow so does everything else. You open your banking app for the 4th time in 10 minutes, like the number might have changed. It hasn't. $37. You make $61,000 a year. On paper, that sounds like a person who's doing fine. You said it out loud at your cousin's wedding last month and watched people nod like you'd said something impressive. But paper doesn't know about the $410 car payment, the $1,290 rent on a one-bedroom you picked because it was close to work, the $260 minimum on a credit card balance that's been quietly growing for 3 years, like mold behind a wall you don't look at. Paper doesn't know that just this once has happened 40 times this year. Takeout, a flight you couldn't afford to a wedding you couldn't skip, a phone you didn't need but wanted the way you want things at 2 a.m., scrolling in the dark. You do the math that night, really do it, for the first time in your adult life. Income minus fixed costs minus debt, minimum leaves you $340 a month. Your card statement says you spent $610 in categories you can't fully explain. You've been bleeding $270 a month for longer than you want to know. You close the laptop. You don't cry. You just sit there in the quiet of an apartment that suddenly feels like evidence. Here's the part nobody tells you at 29. You're not behind because you're lazy. You're not behind because you don't understand money. You're behind because no one ever sat you down and showed you what $270 a month actually costs you over 40 years. Nobody shows you the graph. So, let's look at it, just once. And then we're never looking backward again. If you invest $500 a month starting today at 29, averaging an 8.5% return, you retire at 65 with roughly $1.6 million. If you wait until 39 to start, just 10 years, 1 decade of "I'll get to it," that same $500 a month gets you about $650,000. The decade you're standing in right now, this exact one, is worth almost $1 million. Not metaphorically, actually. So, you open a new tab, not a budgeting app, not yet. First, the ugly spreadsheet. Every dollar, every category, no mercy. It takes you 2 hours, and by the end, you're staring at 14 subscriptions you forgot existed. $187 a month total, for apps you haven't opened since March. You cancel 11 of them right there at your kitchen table at 11:40 p.m. in your pajamas. It feels smaller than it is. It is not small. That's $2,244 a year you were paying to feel nothing. The first goal isn't retirement. It isn't even the credit card. It's $500 sitting in an account you don't touch. You pick up a Saturday shift at the coffee place 2 blocks from your apartment. The one you always thought looked kind of nice from outside. $12 an hour, 6 hours before tips. Your coworkers are 19. You are 29, wearing an apron, and for the first 2 shifts, you feel a specific kind of embarrassment you don't tell anyone about. By week 6, it stops mattering. You've made $890. You sell your gaming console, barely used since college, for $210. You meal prep on Sundays instead of ordering, which sounds like a cliche until you realize it's saving you $260 a month, which is not a cliche. That's a car payment. 4 months in, you check the account. $1,140. You don't post about it. You don't tell your roommate. You just sit there for a second in the specific silence of having done something hard and real that no one witnessed. At 30, you automate. $300 a month into a Roth IRA, $150 into the emergency fund, both leaving your checking account on the 3rd, 2 days after payday, before your brain has time to talk you out of it. You start attacking the credit card with the debt avalanche method, highest interest first, and mail an extra $200 a month at it like you're mailing a letter to a version of yourself who's about to be free. Then, in March, your transmission goes. You're on the highway doing 65 when the car shudders and drops power, like it's exhaling for the last time. You coast to the shoulder with your hazards on, heart going, and you already know before the tow truck even arrives. The shop calls 2 days later, $2,750. 18 months ago, this would have been the end of everything. Maxed card, a payment plan, a spiral you wouldn't climb out of for a year. Instead, you transfer it from the emergency fund you built one Saturday shift at a time. You feel your hands shaking slightly as you authorize it, not from fear this time. From something closer to disbelief. You did this. You built the thing that just caught you. You rebuild the fund in 5 months flat. You don't miss a contribution once. At 31, the credit card hits 0. You transfer the final payment on a Tuesday during your lunch break, standing in a parking lot, and you don't feel triumphant so much as lighter, like you've been carrying a bag you forgot was on your shoulder and someone just took it. That night, you redirect the $460 you used to send to the card, near every dollar of it, straight into your Roth. You don't let yourself absorb it into spending, not $1. At 32, you're in Target picking out a desk chair for your one bedroom, which you're now 3 years into paying down aggressively, so you can move somewhere with an actual second room. There's a $49 chair and a $189 chair. Old you grabs the cheap one and doesn't think twice. New you stands there and does different math. You sit in this chair 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for years. The cheap one will die in 14 months. You buy the $189 one and drive home and realize, sitting at a red light, that you weren't performing discipline. You just automatically thought in years now. Nobody taught you that. It just grew in, the way calluses grow in on hands that do the same work long enough. At 33, your company announces layoffs on a Thursday. The Slack goes quiet in that specific way. Everyone's typing somewhere else. You go home and check the number. Your emergency fund covers 4 months at your real spending level, and your Roth is a second wall behind that if it comes to it. You're not made of stone. You still feel your stomach drop. But you're not one missed paycheck from disaster the way you were at 29. And that difference is the entire difference. The layoffs land on 9 people. You're not one of them. You watch a coworker carry a box to her car, and you feel something complicated. Relief, guilt, and underneath both, a cold understanding that this is just weather now, and weather always comes back around. You bump your emergency fund target from 4 months to 6 the following week. At 34, your best friend since college buys a $58,000 truck he didn't need, financed at 7.4% over 72 months, and tells you it's basically the same as renting a car forever when you think about it. You don't argue. You've learned that arguing with someone's justification never once changed a decision. You just quietly do the math in your head. He'll pay almost $70,000 total for something worth half that by the time it's paid off. And you feel the pull of it anyway, sitting in the passenger seat, the new leather smell, the quiet engineered, into every door close. A voice in you says you've earned something like this. You notice the voice. You don't fight it. You don't shame it. You just let it pass through like weather too. You drive your 6-year-old Corolla home, and it starts on the first try, and that's the whole story. At 35, your portfolio crosses $75,000 on an ordinary Tuesday. You're at your desk, mid-email, and you check the app out of habit, more than hope. And there it is. You don't screenshot it. You don't tell anyone. You just sit with it for a second, the way you'd sit with a plant you've watered for years, finally blooming, and then you go back to your email. This is the number that stops feeling like a goal and starts feeling like ground. At 36, your dad calls about his roof. $5,400, and he's been putting off calling a contractor for months because he didn't know how he'd cover it. You tell him not to worry about it, and you mean it completely, and you transfer the money the next morning without opening a single other tab to check what you'd have to sacrifice. 5 years ago, this call would have wrecked you for a month. Instead, you sleep fine. That's the moment you understand. really understand what any of this was for. It was never about a number on a screen. It was about being able to say, I've got it to someone you love and have it be true without costing you anything real. At 38, you do the math you once avoided for years and you don't flinch anymore. Your portfolio earned more last year from growth alone than you earned working full-time at 24. Money you didn't touch made money while you slept, while you were sick, while you forgot to check the account for 2 weeks straight. You paid off your student loans in a single transfer 8 months ago, and it felt less dramatic than you expected and more like exhaling. You still notice the gap sometimes. Friends who are in real financial pain that breaks your heart to watch up close. Friends who make more than you and spend every dollar of it like the ground under them is guaranteed. You've stopped trying to explain index funds at dinner. People don't change because you mention a number. They change at their own kitchen table, on their own $37 morning, if it ever comes. You just quietly keep going. You turn 40 lying in bed before the sun's up, before coffee, before your phone, and you think about the chipped mug, the $37, the spreadsheet you almost didn't open. Then you check the number, $410,000. Not retired, not on a yacht, not anything the internet would call made it. Just a person who started at 29 with a chipped mug and $37 and refused to look away from a spreadsheet one more time. The median 40-year-old in America has a net worth under $70,000. You built almost 6 times that from a negative starting line. 1 Saturday shift, 1 canceled subscription, 1 transmission repair paid in cash without panic. Not because you got lucky, though luck helped and you know it. Because you started before you felt ready. Because you automated the behavior and let the motivation catch up later, which it always does. 11 years ago, you thought wealth would feel like a number on a screen. It doesn't. It feels like a parking lot phone call where you say, I've got it, and mean it. It feels like a car that breaks down and doesn't break you. It feels like waking up one ordinary Tuesday and realizing the future stopped being something that happens to you. It became something you built.